What inspired us to make Knights of the Damned? Well, I guess we kind of liked the zombie and undead genre, but felt we'd seen a lot of it before. And so I started thinking about what we hadn't seen, and liking the medieval thing, I thought, well, maybe that was an interesting combination. That whole idea of a zombie trying to bite somebody, but they're covered in armor. If we were pushing away from realism, and historical accuracy, and we were sort of adding zombies, well, why didn't we go further? Why didn't we actually create an entire fantasy world? And that's where we are with Knights of the Damned. Knights of the Damned is the first of a series of films under the title of Order of Kings. So I play Sir George, and he is the leader of a band of knights, of the Royal Knights actually, and he's been one of these knights for many, many years. So the friendship that he has with his comrades, we can see that they are a real band of brothers. They're a very tight-knit unit, but he specifically is kind of a slightly woeful man with a lot resting on his shoulders. And by the time we meet him in the film, they've been chasing the dragon for about 9 months, and they've lost some men, and they have a lot riding on their shoulders, especially him being the one who's leading the knights. So it's an interesting character to play because there's a lot of swashbuckling, a lot of sword fighting, a lot of action, but there's also a lot going on for him as a character underneath all that. What has been my favourite experience creating the film? It's kind of hard to narrow that down because there has been a lot of great moments. I think working with some fantastic guys on the fight teams has been great. Sword fighting all day long is great fun. I think working with Simon to create the actual look of the world, and find these amazing locations with the amazing creatures. That's a special effect creature back there. So what are the pros and cons of each role? I guess each thing is very, very separate. Acting is, I think, storytelling in its truest form. From having the great text from a good writer, or direction from a great director. It's down to you to then create that. The pros of it is it's phenomenally creative, and it can be really fulfilling and hugely fun. The cons are obviously there's a lot of time when you're not acting. There's a lot of time when you're not working. Producing is the opposite. Producing, you can say, right, let's get this done. We're going to go make something, and we're going to raise the money. I'm going to get producers. I'm going to get directors. I'm going to get the cast. We're going to make something happen. And rather than being an actor waiting for a job, as a producer, you can create jobs, not just for yourself as the producer, but for other actors, other producers, other directors. You can bring people on. You can make something great, and that's the big pro. The con of being a producer is that you have to then make that happen, and you spend a lot of time, and you do a lot to actually bring that together, and it's not easy, but it is super, super worthwhile. It's the same thing being a writer. You have to focus and knuckle down, and it's really easy to start a script, but making sure it fits structurally and works, and making sure it's something that not only do you start but you finish. It's very easy to slack off and watch some TV or go out, but it's hard work, but it really pays off, and it's wonderful to see it actually come to life. How do you stay grounded? Well, I think I'm quite a grounded person anyway. I don't get caught up in all the glamour of filmmaking too easily. Don't get me wrong, at the premiere I'll be all smiles and having a great time and seeing the film up there. It's easy to get swept up with that, but especially as a producer, I spend a lot of my time looking at spreadsheets or budgets and raising money and pitching and bringing stuff together. And aside from the film industry, I own a couple of businesses, and whether it's with my businesses or whether it's making films, 90% of your time is spent doing hard paperwork and hard actual production work, and probably maybe 20% of your time is making films and the fun stuff. What has been my best experience? I think from both an actor's point of view and from a producer's point of view, at the premiere in Leicester Square and you're watching the film, it's an amazing thing. And not for you to see your film there, for you to see other people watch your film. And that's what I tend to do at a screening. I've sat in lots of screenings and I'm not watching my film. I've seen it 10 times by the time I've got there. I'm really watching other people's reactions, because at the end of the day, that's who you're making films for. You're not making films for yourself, and you're not making films for your mate or for the investor or whatever else. Those people are all got to be made happy, but you're making films for the audience. And when you actually get to see them laugh at a funny line, or gasp at something scary, or get really caught up in the action, that is the best bit. Well, we are starting on the next Order of Kings film, which I believe is going to be titled The Dark Kingdom. It actually picks up from where Knights of the Damned finished. And we also are starting another one currently entitled Riptide, but I think that's going to change. It's just a working title, and that is I don't want to say too much actually, but that's kind of an action creature horror type of movie, and we have something else as well, but I can't say too much about that. There's lots going on, so if you check out the Knights of the Damned Facebook page, the Order of the King's Facebook page, and win tickets to premieres, who knows? If I had the opportunity to do anything I wanted, I would do exactly as I'm doing now. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I have such a laugh. You know, I'm making a living out of literally having fun. And yeah, we have to work quite hard sometimes, but I don't want anything else. Apart from that car, if I couldn't do this, I don't know if I'm good at anything else. No, I think I'd probably be an outdoors instructor type. I love scuba diving. I'm a dive master and a climbing instructor. I'd probably end up being a dive master on a beach somewhere, messing around. And I'd be like, have you seen Along Came Polly? I would be, Claude. They'd be like, you for scuba? Come on, you make a scuba party. That's who I'd be, for sure.